Hey, Shalom, Rakim Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, as always, we want to give all our praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh,
Bahashem,
Yahweh
Shai, Bahashem, HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to you, elect Akim, pushing this word with all truth and sincerity. To the 144,000 prophets who Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai has sanctified and ordained to teach this word to you all. I say Shalom, as well as to the 1/3 who believe on Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai through our testimony. To you all, I say Shalom. Back here again, the brother Tazamah.
I know.
And we're just back with another lesson post-camp, you know what I mean? And, it's not going to be a long lesson at all, but what we wanted to go into is this whole little mask, this whole mask mandate, whereas now you had Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, pretty much institute an order that the mask is no longer going to be needed when it comes to going into businesses and things of that nature, as well as Texas opening up 100% again here. What tomorrow? I want to say it's going to go through. I believe
he said when. I don't know if it was tomorrow or the next Wednesday. I don't know which day it was.
It's pretty much soon though. He's talking about immediately implementing this law, where not law, but pretty much implementing the fact that Texas doesn't have to have this mask.
Yeah, he's lifting the state mandate.
Right. And that's going to cause a lot of strife and contention with pro-maskers and pro-maskers and those that don't really care about the mask. It's going to cause a strife and division. You see, and all this is set up because you had the whole thing with Texas and the power grid being shut down, which you already know what that's all about. Texas's power grid being pretty much state regulated versus federal regulated. Pretty much like, look, you gonna need us is pretty much what happened with the power grid. So with Texas lifting up the mandate for the mask, and you have other states as well backdooring them, like Mississippi, for example, this is gonna cause a sedition. This is gonna cause a division, more so of a division, because President Joe Biden, he wants to push the mask through 2022.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, because, with Trump, it was different. Obviously, he was a Republican, and you have, those more liberal states, the Democrats are the ones that, have the highest restrictions, you know what I mean? Like, you saw California and New York, have very high case numbers, and those are, the blue states, they're more leaning towards, basically taking the pandemic more seriously.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're pushing the jab more, and basically ensuring that they invoke fear amongst the people, so you have a higher percentage of citizens in those particular states that are pro-maskers and pro-vaxxers, versus in traditionally red states or Republican states, those are more conservative, and they would prefer to to have these things like the mask mandate being lifted, which is why the pressure's been on. Well, really, he's been wanting. He's spoken. The governor has spoken openly about basically lifting the getting Texas back in order. You know what I mean? As far as taking the mask mandate away. So when I don't know if you're gonna play the video.
Yeah, I'm gonna read the article first.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna get a precept first though. This is Matthew 12:25. And Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. You see, so this is a house that's divided. The White House is divided. You got Republican, Democrat, pro-rightist, leftist, pro-maskers, non-maskers, pro-jab, non-jab. You know what I'm saying? Everything's against one another here in Babylon, man. And even with this whole lift of the mask mandate, like we're going into, this is going to cause more rift, and it's going to cause more dissension within. It's going to cause more dissension within this particular state, man. You already got those individuals who take the mask seriously, and you got individuals who don't take the mask seriously.
Right.
But this is like I said, it's going to cause more division and more strife, which is all according to prophecy, because what do the elites want? They want order out of chaos. You see? So I'm going to go ahead and read this article here. Once again, this is on RT.com. It says mass murder and reckless. Texas ending mask mandate triggers Democrat meltdown. Like the brother was just going into. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna trigger a Democrat meltdown, man. You're seeing this, and you got people calling Greg Abbott a murderer now because now he's lifting the mask.
He's a murderer.
You know what I'm saying?
Going from 75% occupancy to 100% occupancy.
Right. You know, all this stuff is just set up because Babylon's getting ready to fall, man.
Right.
Not just saying with Texas, but watch it. There's going to be a lot of other states that's going to follow after the lead of Texas. Like I said, he already got Mississippi. And then he had Arkansas that came through as well and say, you know, yeah, we're going to lift our mask mandate too. But also you're going to have certain other states that's going to allow it, that they're not going to allow it, you know?
Yep.
And you're going to have the people in these different states that's going to get pissed.
Kind.
All right, so it says the announcement by Governor Greg Abbott that Texas will fully reopen next week is drawing backlash. From mask mandate champions such as California colleague Gavin Newsom and other Democrats, and counter backlash as well. So you got backlash for the mask, and you got counter backlash going against that too. Right? It says Abbott marked the anniversary of the 1836 Texan independence on Tuesday, and it had to be on Texas Independence Day.
Right. Which that's today.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Today that he made this announcement, like, you know what? You know, F this mask mandate. We finna reopen and get things back going.
Okay.
We don't give a damn what the president got to say. This is what we doing. All set up systematically, right? It says Abbott marked the anniversary of the 1836 Texan independence on Tuesday by announcing that the state will reopen 100% by next week in order to restore livelihoods and normalcy. And don't be surprised if something takes place next week. It says while the C-19 has not disappeared, state mandates are no longer needed to force people to maintain safety practices so the Texans can, quote unquote, have the freedom to determine their own destiny, added Abbott, a Republican. You see, so he's adding it. He's pretty much pushing, look, us Texans, right? We have the freedom to determine our own destiny regardless of what the government says, regardless of what federal regulations state. You see? It says Abbott's announcement triggered an avalanche of criticism on Twitter, if not in actual Texas, with critics invoking the standard talking point used against Republican governors reluctant to impose strict lockdowns or mask mandates. They are against science and want people to die. You see? So they're saying that if you're not with the mask, that you're against science. And this is what these this is what these Edomites and these people are pushing transhumanism. You got to trust in the science of the mask. You got to trust in science. Which science proves this and science proves that. When it's all just a bunch of BS. It's Democrat against Republican, Republican against Democrat. You see? It's all just everybody against one another, man. And this is all prophecy, man. This is what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah is pushing forth to issue forth his judgment. You see? Because Babylon is going to fall. It tells you that. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot what I was about to say. Oh yeah, Babylon is going to fall according to the prophecy with the 10 toes in Daniel the 2nd chapter. It says what the iron was mixed with the clay. You see? And it was made weak. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing the stages of that really begin to happen more so now. Okay. This is a Twitter. It says this fool is opening Texas 100% and ending the statewide mask mandate, literally against science guidance. Just say you want people to die, Greg. This is what somebody said on Twitter. Man. Like Greg Abbott want people just to die. Like, and watch this whole mask lifting of the mask mandate. What's going to happen with it? So-called C-19 boogeyman rates is gonna jump up out the roof, and it's gonna cause more strict lockdowns.
God.
You see, and it's gonna cause and say, look, you know, it doesn't matter if you Texas or not. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to follow you're gonna have to follow what we tell you. Regardless of if you have independence or not. This is what this all going down to. Complete lockdown is what it's going into. And we see it. Like the scriptures say, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We see these things. It says Abbott is a quote unquote a mass murderer. tweeted conspiracy theorist and outspoken resistance activist Bill Palmer.
Come on, bro.
There were even comparisons to another famous Texan, former U.S. President George W. Bush, and his quote mission accomplished moment, prematurely celebrating victory in Iraq in May 2003. Though the initial U.S. invasion succeeded, the bloody occupation would drag on for more than 8 years after that. And they posted a picture of George Bush as Greg Abbott. So, you know, with all this being said, the reason why we're bringing this out is because here you have a complete division between so-called Democrat beliefs on the mask, so-called Republican beliefs on the mask, this is all a bunch of division and a bunch of bullshit at the end of the day.
Okay.
That's going to cause more sedition.
Okay.
That's what this is all boiling down to. It's going to cause more sedition amongst men, which is going to lead to what? It's going to lead to order out of chaos. That's what the elites want. All right, so we're going to end it off on this real quick. Like I said, we didn't want this to be too long, but this is the book of 2nd Ezra 15 and 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men," and that word sedition, it goes into a division, right? "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power." You see that? And we're currently seeing this prophecy speak just with this little instance with Texas, man. They're not regarding the kings or princes of what Joe Biden has to say and what the federal regulations have to say. Texas is saying, look, we going to open up Texas and we're going to stop this whole mask mandate bullshit. It doesn't matter what Joe Biden say. This is what we doing. And then you got Mississippi following behind him, like, you know what? No, we following Texas's lead, man. We gonna lift our mandate too. So you're gonna have pro-maskers, you're gonna have anti-maskers, you're gonna have pro-vaxxers, anti-vaxxers. You're gonna have all these pro and anti groups clashing with one another, man. You see, it says, "In the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And what does the next verse say? "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able," because it's going to just lead to more restrictions at the end of the day when it's all said and done. This is people think that things are going to just get normal. You know, the world is going to go back to normal. Texas is going to open up. You're going to have a hot girl summer. You know, you're going to have a summer where everything going to be straight. Well, we don't got to wear no mask. Woohoo! And scripture say what? It says, when they shall say peace and safety. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Can you grab that real fast?
Okay.
We'll actually end it off on that one, unless you had that on the precept.
I would just add into your point how Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, said that there was not going to be a way to return back to the normal that we once knew. You know what I mean? And these are the individuals who are closer to the ones that are making the decisions, not, you know what I mean, even the governor, more so even than the governor of Texas, because you have the individuals that are vice presidents of these, you know, multi-billion-dollar companies that millions of people rely on for their services and goods. Those are the ones that are really in control. When Operation Lightspeed went into effect, Warp Speed and the COVID team, the COVID task force went into effect or whatever. Who did they bring to the forefront? Targets, Kroger's, Walmart's, CVS, owners of those are the people that controlling the things that the everyday person needs. Right. You know, so those are the people you should be paying attention to, man. Right. But Salaki,
when they shall say peace and safety.
Okay, Khan. I was holding that at camp too.
Yeah, 1 Thessalonians 5.
Right. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. And what is that, verse 3? Okay, it says, "For when they shall say peace and safety."
Peace and safety. You know, we have the mandates lifted. You know, we're seeing numbers drop. The flu is absolutely gone. That's another thing. Now the flu that was once rampant and killing more people than COVID, now the flu is just completely disappeared. You know what I'm saying? Now we don't got to wear no more masks. You know what I'm saying? Now Joe Biden coming out and say, look, we got enough vaccines to get for every single American, for every single adult in America.
You get a vax.
Everybody gonna get one. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It says 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child.
You see, so sudden destruction is going to come upon them as travail with the woman, as travail upon a woman with child. It's going to come unexpected. You see, these people are going to be getting hit off guard with something that's going to be a lot worse, man. More restrictions and even worse lockdowns than what was before. Go ahead.
And they shall not escape.
And they're not going to escape, man. See, so all this happening with the whole lifting of the mask, we don't be surprised if you're going to see something more sinister happen out here in Texas, man. You know, the power grid going out during the time of that winter storm, but that was all set up. Whereas these people died because they shut the power off down here. So don't be surprised here if they do something more sinister down here, man. You know, so we're going to keep our eyes on this. Like I said, we just want to do a quick lesson. Lord willing, it was edifying, very quick. We want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadah. Double honors to the apostles and others, a great millstone that taught us his truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Shalom.